you're broke and you're done, cause I'ma be the one till I jet. I'ma be the one till I jet. I know why you wanna hate. I know why you wanna hate. Cause hate is all the ones who say for this life and where they keep it. It's kinda sad when you don't know the meaning, but everything happens for a reason. I don't even know what I should say, cause I'm an idiot, a loser, microphone abuser. I analyze every second I exist, beating up my mind every second with my fists. And everybody wanna run, everybody wanna hide from the gun. You can take a ride through this life if you want, but you can't take the edge of the night, no. And now you want your money back, but you're denied, cause your brain's fried from the sack.